Hey everybody, welcome back to the Bourbon Note. I'm Greg.
I'm Ben.
And today we're continuing our journey into the rye world. So we're drinking a rye. All right, Ben, why are we drinking rye?
I don't know.
Explain.
I don't know.
It doesn't say rye
we
on
just
the
decided
logo.
to get a little crazy. We had a couple of bottles that we each wanted to open.
Yeah.
And so we're continuing our rye week here. So we have on the bar, bam, this is Knob Creek Rye. So, Knob Creek Rye, 100 proof. Doesn't say anything about an age on here. They do have the, this is the updated wax.
Yes.
Ah, jeez. I was just gonna say this is so much better than their old wax, but apparently it's not. There we go. Apparently Jim Beam, the good people at Jim Beam watch this channel.
And enjoy the struggle.
And they heard about, either that or they heard us trashing their wax game, and so they changed it up. I'm gonna assume that that's because of us.
Yeah,
I'm going with that.
I mean, there's no evidence to the contrary.
Yeah. So
we are big fans of Knob Creek bourbon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we've had a few ryes now, but we still don't consider ourselves Knob Creek experts. Or I'm sorry, rye experts. But one thing we have noticed is certain distilleries tend to like change the mash bill from 25-30% rye, and they just push that up to 51%.
Yeah.
So it really drinks like a bourbon, like a super high rye bourbon, but still very similar to bourbon. Other distilleries just go like,
if it's like a rye brand,
full on,
yeah,
full on rye forward.
And by the time this video comes out, I think we will have had one of those.
Oh, sure, probably.
So this one's, I'm actually getting a little more higher rye vibes off of this. We've done, and we mentioned in a previous video, we've done some kind of base rye offerings from bourbon distilleries that are traditionally
we did the
bourbon.
Wild Turkey Rare Breed rye,
which
was bourbony, but great.
We did the Russell's rye.
Yep.
Elijah Craig
rye, all great, but very similar to their bourbon.
Yeah, they're the lower end of the rye content.
Not actually getting, I mean, it's ethanol forward. There is
oaky.
Almost campfire.
Really?
It was not something I actually...
Some of that barrel char, maybe.
Maybe, but I don't actually get that a lot.
It's kind of evening out with the sweetness, but it's coming across as like a high rye bourbon again.
Yeah. I'm going for it.
Cheers. Ooh, a lot of good sweetness on this one too.
A lot of good, but this one has a really solid mouthfeel.
Mm-hmm.
It actually drinks like a bourbon, then the bourbon stops, and then the rye continues because the finish is rye. I don't know. Rye works different.
Yeah, I would guess this does fall into that category if it's on the lower end of the
the rye,
51% rye.
Maybe a touch more than that, but I don't know. I mean, we probably could look on the internets, but.
That would require research, and nobody ever accused us of being professionals here, so.
We're not allowed to. It's one of the requirements of the job is go in blind.
Yeah, this actually has a really nice kind of oaky note, oaky finish a little bit. We did the twice barreled rye from Knob Creek, and that was good.
Yeah.
Different.
Boy, this has an interesting sweetness.
Mm-hmm.
Almost like a mapley kind of maple donut type sweetness.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, I'm liking this a lot. And in truth, we did a review before this. It was another absolutely great rye.
Yeah. I'm with you on the maple. Yeah, like the maple frosting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an interesting kind of sweetness. I don't typically get that
totally agree.
flavor note out of a lot of whiskeys that we try.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would have picked it out if you hadn't said it, but now that you mention it, like there was a weird sweetness that I couldn't put my finger on, and I think that that's a good way to describe it. It's not in your face though.
It's
like it's oaky and there's some rye spice, but it does have that nice maple note.
It's not subtle. I mean, it's there and noticeable, but it's not so aggressive that it's gonna kill it for you if you don't love the sweetest of whiskeys.
Yeah.
I think this is great.
Yeah. Yeah, this is another really good one that, I don't want to be redundant, but in Monday's video, we talked about an intro. This falls into that category as well. And I think these kind of individual rye offerings from bourbon distilleries are all turning out to be great for that sort of a thing, you know. But this one's at 100 proof, so you're getting a little bit more of a proof point on it. And they do some experiments. Like I said, we've done the twice barreled rye that was a limited edition in 2019. So check that video out.
But you just bought it kind of recently, and our review was not, 2 months ago maybe?
Yep. And then they have a cask strength rye, which now, after having this, I do know where to score a couple of those. I think they did that maybe 2 years in a row, but I don't know if they've done it since. So I know they did a 2019 one, and I do know of a liquor store that has 3 of them on the shelf. But they're like $80. But after trying this, the twice barreled one, you can't really get a feel for what the actual just base whiskey tastes like because the second barreling is going to drastically affect that. After trying this one, I'm more curious about the cask strength rye, which I've had before, but it was a long time ago.
Okay.
So I may have to just drop the $80 and pick up a bottle of that.
You may be carrying another $80 with you.
Yeah, yeah, if you want one. That'll leave one on the shelf, and when we do that review, I'll tell you what store it's at. I want to say it now, though, because I still want to get a bottle of it.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, this is really good.
Really good.
I've very much been impressed with the ryes recently. So,
but I think you hit on a very key point. These are bourbon distilleries who are now maybe they've always been there, but they're expanding into rye. Maybe that was 20 years ago. They know what they're doing in bourbon, and they know what they're doing with their kind of lower ryes.
Sure.
I think next we're gonna try a true rye whiskey.
Yeah, one it's a rye brand that's probably 100% rye, or
almost no corn, or maybe a little corn, but it's not going to drink like a bourbon. So that could be a big departure.
Yeah, and we may have already released that video at this point. Time travel with the whenever we put these out. But yeah, this has been fun actually, kind of going through a couple of ryes here.
Yep.
We will get back to the bourbon again.
Promise. Yep.
But yeah, this has been fun, and I definitely. Do you remember the price on this?
I think it's $50, but
is it really? That seems high.
It does seem high, but I don't know.
I feel like the single barrels are around 50.
You're right. Normal Knob Creek, like the 9-year.
Yeah, it's like $30 or something like that.
So
this is probably similar to that.
Maybe 45. I don't know. I'm guessing. I don't even remember where I got it, but.
Well, either way, I'm probably going to pick up a bottle of this.
I genuinely like that a lot.
Yeah. So, well, this has been another good rye on the bourbon note. Thank you for watching. I'm Ben.
I'm Greg. Share this video with a friend. Cheers.